warrant. Senator Mullin, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for being here. I had to take a little bit of disagreement with Senator Warren on drawing down our nuclear systems, our nuclear weapons right now. I don't think this is the time that we should be doing this. I think it is extremely volatile time we live in right now. We have, I would say it's probably one of the most volatile times we've been living in since the 1940s, and I think we need to recognize that. Appeasement does not speak to our enemies. Power speaks to our enemies, and I think your report is trying to get to that. However, she did mention the fact about the administration. Has the administration gave you any feedback on your report?
Not yet, Senator. We just released it last week, and it's a long report with 81 recommendations, so
well, I understand it's a long report,
Yeah.
But we've
But
had the
we do
opportunity to
not
go
yet.
through it
No.
here.
No, we do not yet.
Are you planning on briefing the administration, the White House, on this?
We had done, just like we had done prior to the release, a heads-up briefing for this committee. We did a similar briefing for the executive branch. So we did that shortly before the release of the report, but we have not gotten any feedback from them.
Had they given you any instructions on what they were looking for in the report while you guys were going through it?
No, sir.
What about the Pentagon?
No. In fact, after we got started and got rolling, it took a while. We actually had extraordinary cooperation from all of our briefers across the executive branch in terms of what their issues were, what their concerns were, what their worries were, as well as from the intelligence community.
Has the Pentagon looked at your report yet?
They have it, for sure.
Have you guys met with them yet on this?
We do not, as far as I know.
Is there a plan to
I plan to,
meet with them?
certainly if they request it, of course.
Well, again, the reason why I get to this is you guys did a tremendous amount of work here, but a report is just a piece of paper. Without action, it means nothing. And while we can sit here and talk about it all day long underneath Chairman Reed, which I appreciate him having these hearings, we're only one leg of really a three-legged stool when it comes to this. While we could approve it and say, yes, this is what we need to do, if we don't have the backing of the administration, which will probably go along with the Pentagon, or the Pentagon go along with them, it doesn't really go anywhere. Would you agree with that?
So our expectation, of course, is that as this report is more widely disseminated, that we discuss it. This hearing is a great example of how we need to get this message out, how we need to talk to people. As I said, we had done a pre-brief with the Nuclear Weapons Council prior to its release. So there's a lot in here that they're going to have to make decisions.
There's a lot here, but if they don't if they don't want you to come brief on meeting from the executive branch, President Biden, to the Pentagon, you can't really force yourself on them. They've got to either take it and receive it. And I'd sure like to know and get feedback from you if they do reach out. I would like to know when that is set up, just so maybe we can have a follow-up discussion and try pairing what they're thinking with what we can get accomplished here. Switching gears really quick, a tanker was already brought up, refueling tanker, obviously Tinker Air Force Base in Oklahoma City. That's one of our missions there, plus the bombers. Transitioning to the B-21s now. There is some concerns on the delivery time on that and the possibility of losing the capability of the mission while we're phasing out one and bringing in another. Senator, your thought on that?
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, Senator, that's exactly one of the things that I alluded to in my opening statement, is this deterrent gap.
Yes.
Which is caused by the fact that we've worked ourselves into a situation where we've got a just-in-time delivery of the modernized system to replace the legacy system, and it may not be just in time.
That's right.
And so we make some recommendation, and this, by the way, is pretty much across the board. It's not only for our nuclear weapons, but it is also for the delivery system. One recommendation, for example, just to illustrate your point, we've all talked about the submarine the importance of the submarine industrial base and the fact that it's going to be a real challenge to build these new Columbia-class submarines and get them deployed in time. One possible workaround there is being studied by the Navy to take some of the more recent Ohio-class submarines, the newer ones, and see if we can extend their life just a little bit. You all will need to make that decision maybe this next year, and it will require some money to extend their life, but that may be a workaround. By the way, a digression. We were told more than once that, quote, we're out of workarounds. So there aren't many workarounds left, but at least one way to deal with the delays in the Columbia-class deliveries is to extend a few of the Ohio-class submarines' life a little bit, and that will require you to specifically authorize that so the appropriators can appropriate the money for it.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Chairman.